All right. What's up, everyone? Travis Lofke here with the Human Upgrade Project. Doing a daytime episode. What's up with that, right? It's only like 4:15. And speaking of that, I have to hurry through this one a little bit faster than normal because I have to be at the ballet school in like 45 minutes because we're doing auditions for company class and all that good stuff. So I'm got that going on. Crazy Saturday. Tonight will be a crazy Saturday night of doing research on sleep, probably. Speaking of sleep, oh wait, before I get into that, random squared for the day was our national holidays. Today is Eat What You Want Day. There you go. So if you need an excuse to eat what you want, then you've got it. National Eat What You Want Today and National Twilight Zone Day. So if you like Twilight Zone, you're good. Just a You probably already know, but tomorrow is Mother's Day, so do something nice for mom. With that said, let's jump in here real quick. I wanted to do this episode number 5, titled episode number 4, because I don't like to do anything like normal people do. Because that would just be boring, right? I mean, why be normal? I've tried it several times. Mind numbing. Fits in really well with adulting, though, so if you like adulting, be normal. Anyways, title of today is What I Do When I Can't Fall Asleep, How to Calculate Your Best Bedtime, and Why Weekends Will Cause Sleep Problems. When everybody's waiting for the weekend to catch up on sleep, FYI, you can't catch up on sleep. It doesn't work like that. You're actually making it worse by trying to catch up. Um, Another thing, too, is I have to read this one because the way I wrote it is really weird. Why you should always listen to sleep science, sometimes never. Let that one bounce around your head for a little bit. What I mean by that, I'm not going to get too much of this right now, but use science as a guideline or a framework. Don't use it as something set in stone or concrete unless you are in the study that they are referencing and talking about. Following exactly what they say and as gospel and set in stone is just not smart. I've done it. That's why I know. So, quick review. Since I'm talking about sleep, quick review of the first 3 things I talked about earlier in the week. Did you set up nighttime rituals? Do you have nighttime rituals now before you go to bed? Are you turning off all of your electronics and all of your everything else at least an hour before bed? Some people do it 2 or 3 hours before bed, but I'm going for an hour, and that's what I'm playing with right now. Awareness. How aware are you of how well you are sleeping? I mean that, what I mean is, are you keeping a holy crap, I slept great last night journal? Maybe I'll put a template together for that for you guys. Um, yeah, keep a holy crap. Crap is spelled with a K, by the way. Holy crap, I slept great last night journal. And write down everything that you did throughout the day from the moment you woke up till the time you went to bed. Not every little detail, but all of the main things, like what you ate, how you felt, attitude, stress, blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. I guess I can put that all in the journal. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. That would be nice. Number 3 thing that I talked about earlier in the week was stop trying to turn off your brain when you go to bed, and use a memory from when you were from your childhood, or a memory that you just love, a memory that makes you happy and content, and literally relive that entire memory down to the very minute detail. So, a few more things that I've tried. FYI, this week has been kind of meh as far as my sleep goes. I usually don't have any. I still don't have any sleep issues or anything like that. But this week has not been a good week for me. Um, it's been fine, but compared to my normal sleep, and I think a couple reasons. I'm trying a few different things, right? And then I'm trying to go to bed a little earlier, which I've tested in the past, but I'm testing it again. It has not worked really well. I do very well going to bed around 2 a.m., between 2:30, and then waking up naturally with no alarm 5 to 6 hours later. And if I go to bed early, I still wake up 5 to 6 hours later. It doesn't really matter when I go to bed. I just wake up, uh, about six-ish, five and a half to six, sometimes 6.5 hours later. Um, it's just how it works. I'll get into details on that and the science and everything else of why that's weird and all that good stuff. But anyways, number one thing, calculating your best bedtime. So this guy out there, was his name? Dr. Michael Bruce. I don't know if that's pronounced his name right. He wrote a book called The Power of When. Great, has some really good content in it. The way it's structured, it didn't answer any of my questions because I didn't fit into any of the questions. He was talking about, jet lag and all this other stuff. That's good information. I would recommend it. It's not at the top of my list though. So, but one thing that he did have that I really liked was something you can use as a guideline framework or something to base your bedtime off of, and that is, what time do you need to get up in the morning? So if you need to get up in the morning at 6 a.m., everybody says 7 to 9 hours of sleep. You usually have, according to science, most people have 5 sleep cycles. Sleep cycles are usually in 90-minute increments. So if you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, count back 7.5 hours, because that's 5 sleep cycles, and figure that time out. At 10:30, I think. 10:30, yeah, I wrote that down. So that'd be 10:30 p.m. Go to bed at 10:30 p.m. If you don't wake up before your alarm goes off, go to bed 15 minutes earlier the next night and test that out. And then just keep pushing it back 15 minutes. If you wake up way before your alarm, then you can push your bedtime a little bit later. There's a site out there. I'll post it in the comments when I get back tonight. There's a site out there called what I have written down here, sleepyti.me. So it spells sleepy time, but the ME is .me. And that will calculate 4 sleep times for you, 4 bedtimes. One at, I think it was like 8.5 or 9 hours, one at 7.5 hours, one at, I don't remember specifically, honest. There's 3 to 4 different sleep times that it calculates based on a 90-minute sleep cycle, going from anywhere from 3 sleep cycles to like 6 sleep cycles. So that's a place, a reference resource that you guys could use also. Number two on this one is what to do if you can't fall asleep. So in the previous ones I was talking about what you do if you have like your brain just like going crazy and you can't stop it. You go back to that one happy memory kind of a thing and focus on that. But then there's still some times where I don't normally have trouble falling asleep, but if I try to go to bed too early, my brain either goes, or if it doesn't go, then I just can't fall asleep. And it's not a problem, like it doesn't bother me, it's not an issue and all that kind of stuff. It's just that I'm not going to lay there and do nothing when I could be up and productive. So get up and get out of bed and go do something. And the reason that they say that, and there was did I write this guy's name down? Yes, Dr. Matthew Walker did a really interesting TED Talk, and it just got published today. I've heard several of his interviews with other people over the years. And so he basically in this TED Talk goes through everything that he had gone through in these other interviews in the past. But one thing that he pointed out that was really, really fascinating, makes complete sense, is that if you lay in bed and can't sleep and your brain won't shut off or you're worrying or whatever, and you're just laying there for hours like I have done in the past, then what you're doing is you're training yourself, you're training your mind and your body to basically associate your bed with the time to just lay there and be awake and think about things. So if you're not tired and you can't go to sleep, get up and do something. And then when you get tired, go to bed. And then you can start easing back into your normal schedule, because if you need to start getting your mind and body on track and associating, once I get in bed, it's time to actually sleep, not it's time to actually turn your brain on. So I really liked that one. I never thought of it that way. I just got up because I got tired of I was like, this is a waste of time, me laying here doing nothing. So I'm getting up and I'm going to be productive. And then you do eventually get tired. Along with that, though, is get up at the same time every day, right? The best thing is go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time every day. But everything I have listened to and everything I've learned, and from all the scientists and doctors and everything else, they recommend making sure at least getting up at the same time every day. So if you go to bed late or go to bed early or whatever, just make sure you get up at the same time so your body knows that's the time to wake up. And that's where I get into number 3 with weekends. Weekends will screw you up completely. So many people I know and just don't know. I mean, a lot of people think that I'm going to either catch up on sleep on the weekends. That's pretty common, I think, knowledge now that you can't catch up on sleep. It doesn't work like that. You can't repay that. You get back on schedule is all you can do. But weekend rolls around. Yay, I get to sleep in. Boom. You just threw off your circadian rhythm, and your body and mind are now like, what's going on? For 5 days, we've been getting up and doing the same routine, and now, all of a sudden, we're in bed for 2 hours longer than we were previously for 2 days. And then, oh crap, that's why Monday for so many people is so difficult. Right? You go to bed, you do this over the weekend, and then on Monday you're like, I have to get up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and this weekend I just stayed in bed till 9 or 10. Well, your body's like, oh, cool, 9 or 10, I'm just going to get used to that. And then Monday rolls around, and it's like, holy crap. And then you feel like garbage when you wake up in the morning because you just got up 3 or 4 hours earlier than what you were doing for the last 2 days. So that was another thing. I had never thought of it that way before. I mean, it's kind of common sense, right? It seems like it would be common sense. You're training yourself you're interrupting the consistency of what you've been doing. So on weekends, stay on the same schedule. I mean, if you're really serious about wanting to get sleep dialed in and recovery and whatever else that you need for the energy you need during the day, by getting a good night's sleep, then that's a small sacrifice, is getting up at the same time and going to bed at the same time or around the same time. There's like I've heard 2 hour, sometimes 3 hour window. Like if you normally go to bed at midnight, you could go to bed at 11 or 1 kind of a thing. So, but yeah, you normally go to bed at 9 or 10 on the weekdays, then you stay up till midnight or 1 in the morning on the weekends, and then get up at like 10 or whatever. It throws everything out of balance. So, to recap, well, let me see if I got all my notes here. Yeah. So, quick recap. Number 1, if you don't already know your best bedtime, figure out the time you need to get up, count back 7.5 hours, and start with that. And then if you wake up before your alarm, way before your alarm, I mean, if you wake up 10, 15 minutes before your alarm, cool. If you wake up like an hour before, then adjust your bedtime later. If you don't wake up before your alarm, adjust it earlier by 15-minute increments. Number 2, if you can't fall asleep, don't just lay there and train yourself to think of bed as a place to just lay there and ruminate and think and stress and fret about whatever. Get up and do something. Yeah, you may not get as much sleep as you want to, but you're not associating your bed. Bed is for 2 things, sleep and sex. Let me see if there's anything else. Nope, that's pretty much it. Make your bed the place for sleep. No reading, I don't even read. Sometimes I'll read books, but like physical books. Typically, no, though. Partially because the lighting in my room is just terrible, and I don't want to take time to make it better so that I can read. Watching TV, terrible. Worst thing you could ever do. Actually, no, worse than that is probably being on your phone or an iPad, watching movies or reading or whatever. Okay, number 3. Consistency. Again, that goes along with rituals at night. The consistency of what time you go to bed, but more importantly, what time you get up in the morning. And doing that on weekends and holidays. One day, fine, maybe that's cool. But that's even worse. You get a 3-day weekend and you do that for 3 days where you throw your circadian rhythm off, then it's just this constant battle then. And getting into that whole sleep schedule thing too, and the different times you wake up and go to bed, the World Health Organization has categorized, classified shift work, like people that work overnight. They've classified that as a carcinogen, meaning people that do shift work and work night shifts are more likely to get cancer now. They've proven, because of all of the negative effects it has on your body, your circadian rhythm, your brain, your memory, everything. And if you're a dude, you really should pay attention because it really, really affects in a negative way your testosterone. So that's another quick little side note. That's one reason I know that I'm on my 5 to 6 hours that I get works for me, and I don't wake up with an alarm or anything. But I did a test. I did an experiment a couple years ago for, how long did I do that for? It's like 4 months, I think, 3 or 4 months. I was getting blood work done and eating a certain special diet and all this stuff. Not anything that's like mainstreamed. I just made up of things that are supposed to help increase your testosterone, all natural, organic, blah, blah, blah. And it worked. It was a pain in the butt, so I didn't maintain it, but I didn't have low testosterone in the first place. So when I did go back to just my normal eating, my testosterone levels went back to where they were, and that was it. And I was still on my normal sleep schedule. I may at some point test sleeping more, but I don't like sleeping more because if I do, I feel like garbage. I hate my life, and I'm not fun to be around. And I can't think. I'm like foggy, scatterbrained. It's just thinking about it makes me want to. So, with that said, I just got my reminder pop up here that I need to get to the ballet school. I'm going to do, maybe in my next episode, I'm going to do how powerlifting and ballet relate to all of this. Why you should care, how it's important, and what are the aspects that I'm using to, because ballet and powerlifting are just the variables that I'm using to enhance every aspect of my life, physically and mentally, because they are so polar opposite. And people are like, well, they probably benefit each other a lot, right? No, they don't. I mean, there's some crossover, but not to the extent that some people think. So I've taken that gap, and that's where all the quote magic lies, is the gap between powerlifting and ballet. All this stuff in between is the important stuff and the stuff that you need to pay attention to, because that's where the pieces start coming together, where you start seeing all these outliers and how they fit together so that you can implement them and integrate them into your life without feeling like you're adding 42 other things and creating a job for yourself. So, with that said, I think I'll start posting this somewhere before I do it, because it's me, myself, and I. We're all enjoying it. And I hope those of you that are seeing this are, and I hope that some of this is useful. If you have any questions or anything about what I'm talking about, please ask, please comment below, and please share this. Please share, like, go out to, I'm going to post my YouTube link in here again too. Subscribe on YouTube, like and share here. And I think I mentioned this before, but I will be getting the audio stripped out of these and put out on podcast sites also. I'll let you know when that is in place. And with that said, I better get my butt going here. Got to warm up and all that good jazz. So, make it an amazing day, because it's better than the alternative.